So, have you ever found yourself in a spot where something just feels, well, a bit off?
Oh, definitely. Like maybe a deal that seems way too good to be true, or
Right.
yeah, something raises a flag.
Exactly. Or maybe the packaging looks like it's, been through the ringer. But even with all that, there's this little nagging thought.
What if?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what if there's actually something there, that that little urge to give it a second chance, just to see what happens.
Hmm.
Well, that's pretty much the vibe we're exploring today. It comes from this fascinating source, Notes on Gardening, part 610 specifically.
Okay.
And our mission really is to unpack this gardener's super unconventional experiment. They're trying to germinate seeds that honestly seem really questionable,
Questionable how? Like old.
very possibly old, maybe
Yeah.
even expired. It's a real dive into pushing against the usual advice.
Ah, okay. And this is interesting because, it's not just about gardening, is it?
Not at all.
It really speaks to that human spark of curiosity, I think, and being adaptable, trying things out, especially when maybe you don't have the best materials or expectations are low.
Right.
Sometimes the best learning, those real insights, they happen when you kind of veer off the main road.
Totally agree. So let's get right into it. The seeds themselves, that's the first layer here.
Where'd they come from?
So the gardener got them from some vendor, and straight away, red flags.
Mm.
Price was suspiciously low.
Uh-huh. Always a sign.
Yeah, the packaging looked kind of rough. And get this, they threw in a packet of free seeds.
Ah, the freebies, often the oldest ones in the batch.
That's exactly what the gardener suspected. They openly say they think these free ones are way past their expiration date.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Despite all that, they're still going to give them a go. They're planting them.
Mm.
Which makes you wonder, right? Why bother? Is it pure stubbornness or something else?
Well, I think it taps into something practical, too. Maybe maximizing value or, just not wanting to waste anything.
Reducing waste, yeah.
Even if the quality seems poor, instead of just chucking them out, they're thinking, is there any life left here? Any potential at all?
Okay, I see.
It's really about resourcefulness, isn't it? Trying to get something out of very little, even if that little seems pretty dodgy. The goal shifts from guaranteed success to just seeing what's actually possible.
Okay, right. So the seeds are iffy to begin with, but the way they're trying to sprout them, that's where it gets really unconventional.
How so? Different from the usual methods.
Oh, yeah. Big departure.
Yeah.
Normally, you put seeds somewhere shaded, maybe cover the tray with a plastic lid to keep things moist and humid.
Standard procedure, yeah. Keep it stable.
But this gardener totally flipped that. They're using a shallow rectangular tray instead of a typical seedling one. And this is wild.
Go on.
They modified the tray. They added extra drainage holes using, wait for it, a soldering iron.
Soldering iron. Wow. Okay. That's
So
inventive.
inventive is one word for it. I mean, can you imagine melting plastic to add holes for a gardening project?
Yeah.
It's definitely not standard practice.
No, it absolutely isn't. And it makes you pause, right? Why those specific changes?
Exactly.
Because the standard way, the lid, the shade, it's all about consistency. Consistent moisture, controlled light, preventing things from drying out too fast or getting too hot.
Right.
So adding more drainage, using an open tray, they're deliberately messing with that stability. It seems like they're actively challenging those core principles, almost inviting variability.
And it doesn't stop there. The whole moisture and light situation is, well, it builds on that deviation.
Okay, how are they managing that?
They're using cocoa peat as the growing medium.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
Is good. It holds moisture really well.
And good water retention. Makes sense if you're expecting things to dry out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because then comes the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
The tray is getting several hours of full sunlight.
Full sun for germination.
Full sun directly contradicts basically every guide that says keep seeds in a shaded spot.
Wow. Okay, that's bold.
And the direct result, they note, is that they'll need to keep moistening it periodically. Way more often, presumably, than if it were covered and shaded.
Yeah, that full sun exposure is a massive risk. That's why the advice is usually shade. You risk drying everything out instantly or scorching tiny seedlings if they do pop up.
Or even stopping germination altogether for some seeds, right? Some need darkness.
Precisely. So doing this shows a real willingness to experiment with the environment itself. It forces you to think about that balance, light, water, heat. Too much sun drastically changes the water needs. And the fact that they're planning to manage it actively by adding water frequently instead of passively with a lid, It says a lot about their hands-on experimental approach.
And, through all of this, the dodgy seeds, the weird tray, the full sun, the gardener is very clear. They state, I don't have high expectations.
Ah, okay, so it's not about expecting a miracle harvest.
Not at all. It's framed completely as an experiment, pure curiosity. Just wanting to, and I quote, see how this experiment unfolds in the coming days.
And that, right there, is the beauty of empirical observation, isn't it?
How so?
Well, not every experiment has to aim for a high chance of success to be valuable. Sometimes the whole point is just finding out what happens when you try something totally different.
Even if it probably won't work.
Even then, maybe especially then. The goal isn't necessarily a tray full of seedlings, it's the knowledge gained. What does happen to old seeds in full sun with extra drainage? That's the question they're answering.
Huh. That makes sense.
It really pushes us to think, when does something that seems questionable become worth exploring? Not for the outcome, but just for the insight it might give you, the learning itself.
Yeah.
So this whole gardening story, it's really more than just seeds, isn't it? It feels like a metaphor
For what?
for challenging our own assumptions, maybe,
Yeah.
adapting to what we have, even if it's not ideal, and finding that sheer joy in just seeing what happens, the discovery part, even when the odds look pretty low.
That's a great way to put it. The joy of discovery, even with questionable inputs.
Yeah.
So thinking about that, maybe we can leave you, the listener, with this question. What questionable ideas or, situations in your own life, maybe at work, maybe personally, what might be worth a shot? A radical low expectation experiment, just to see what surprising insights might, sprout.